Shaolin martial arts, and I'm here today with Master Reid. And Master Reid, thank you for being here with us.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Actually, I'm here with you.
My pleasure to be hosting you here at the ATL.
Well, I want to get right into it. I want to ask you, what is the progression of your martial arts training?
Progression in my martial arts training. Well, I started like many people when I was a kid. When I was 8 years old, I did a little martial arts. My mom said, make a decision: football, basketball, baseball, or martial arts.
Really hard to
Yes, I am the son of a coach who also was fortunate enough to play a year in the NFL, and so there was no possible way I was going to give up football, basketball, and baseball, even for martial arts. So I watched martial arts from afar for a long period of time, and then when I was fortunate enough to begin my professional career, at the end of our first season, I picked up martial arts. And what I did then was I studied Shaolin Kung Fu. I instructed Master Garry Grooms, and that was my foundation of martial arts. And so I got a good foundational base. Along the way, I was influenced by several instructors. One was a classmate of mine named Sifu Steve Johnson. He retaught me basically the structural aspects of martial arts, looking at martial arts from a geometric perspective, and coming to understand the simple foundational elements that all arts are built upon. Not necessarily all, but how to look at martial arts and get something out of it so that you can see how the system works. I also had a very good friend named Terrance who has passed away at this point in time, and he introduced me to, let's call them, more exotic arts that the American population probably hasn't seen as much of. A lot of African arts, some other Brazilian arts, some different types of karate and so forth. And he encouraged me to always broaden my perspective and not be limited by what other people said. I can't forget Guru who taught me, was my first combatives teacher, you know, in terms of saying, hey, it's one thing to be about the commercial aspect or the ring, is another thing to talk about really defending yourself in the real world. And then my last instructor, or current instructor, as I say, Guru Phillip, who was here in Atlanta, and then Pendekar, Bahati, Mershant, with Kuntao and Silat.
Of course. So these are your influences.
Those are some of my major influences. There are others, but those people right there carry a big, significant aspect. And I probably should say, I can't forget Elder Master Tim Nance and Elder Master Garry Mullins, who are also Shaolin practitioners. Without those two guys, there's no way that I would have maintained my interest in martial arts. They were very motivational, encouraged me at different points in time. So that group right there, I would say, are the major influences that have helped me to grow just a little bit in the martial arts world.
Well, and also grow to found and own Reid's Shaolin martial arts. I know you've gone through a transition over the last year, but what is some advice that you could give our audience on being or becoming an even more, would you say, beneficial or successful business owner?
I would probably tell any martial artist that you have to make some type of decision. As martial artists, particularly if we're martial kind of purists, we're more concerned often about our personal goal and growth in the martial arts community, and then understanding how we use it. But unfortunately, in America, if you would like to be a business person, you probably need to incorporate some true business acumen and systems into what you do. So I would tell anyone the same thing I just told Sifu West, who just opened up a school carrying our banner, is that one, we want to be good practitioners. We want to make sure that we carry the flag forward. But to do that, we need business systems and operations and marketing and so forth so that we can run a successful business. Because if you're in business, one thing I would tell anyone would be, in America, business means that we also want to have a product. And if you run a martial arts school for 20, 30, 40 years and you have nothing to show for it, then you will have helped a lot of people. Okay? But for yourself, you do need to make money because we live in that country. So I would tell any person, first, get some business systems and practices to what you're having to do. Make sure you have a good business plan, and then implement both parts of that, the business and the martial arts. Not always easy to do, but if you're going to be in business, be in business.
Well, you've done it successfully. You continue to grow and add new programs to...
I've survived myself.
Yeah, but done well for yourself too, not just survive.
I've been very, very blessed. I've had a tremendous amount of people to be supportive of me. I've had great instructors and friends to care for. So I've done a lot of work, worked a lot of hours, but at the same time, I've also had a lot of support. So.
And speaking of that support, our audience, I don't know if you're aware, but Master Reid, you were inducted into 2014 Masters Hall of Fame. You have been recognized for all the work that you've done on the business level and also traditionally in your arts and all the arts that you teach. What has that induction meant for you?
Well, for me, the induction actually felt quite good to get the letter and the notice and so forth. You can imagine this is my 22nd year of running a martial arts school. I've gotten lots of notices and letters from different groups and organizations, but I was, Sifu Curtis is the person who had submitted me. I have great respect for Sifu Curtis, and so I decided to look into the group, and when I saw what the group had to offer, I felt like, okay, well, this is the time. So for me, it's not so much about what I did, it's about all the people and all the support and all the others that have gone into that particular journey. So I think that's recognition of their work into me and also those students who have trained up under me over a period of time.
Sure.
So it meant quite a bit to me.
Well, the Masters Hall of Fame is definitely following you and your success, and it definitely wants to contribute in any way that it can.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, actively a Hall of Fame. So on to some fun topics of weapons. What are some of your favorite weapons?
Well, being a student of Chinese martial arts, besides our forms and other things, obviously weapons training is something that we enjoy. On the classical side of things, I like big battle axes, Li Kuai axes. I'm a Kwang guy. I'm not a big nunchaku person, nothing wrong with that, that's not me. In my current state, I'd say my favorite weapon is the sabaton, and that would be a Kuntao Silat type of weapon.
Would you explain it a little bit for our audience if they're not familiar?
Okay, well, the sabaton is a weapon, and I do believe that my instructor's design comes from the Sunda in Indonesia. And the reason why I like it so much is because however I hold it, however I grip it, it can always cut. But because I can hold on to it, I can utilize my hands. So what we have is we have a curve on one end and a curve on the other, so we get all the benefits of a karambit. We also get all the benefits of a straight blade. It's very, very difficult to disarm. Hard to see, it comes out, it does its job, and then you can move on about your business.
Well, I'm going to ask you for a photo post-interview so that we can provide it in this interview for the audience.
I'll be happy to provide that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I saw it last night. Actually got to hold it too. I wanted to ask what is something that our audience wouldn't know about you?
Well, that's always an interesting question for a long period of time. Based upon where your audience, for the most part, is at on the West Coast, I mean, it's obviously all over the world, but on the West Coast of the North Coast, probably the biggest thing is that I'm actually a former NFL player. I played 6 years with the Atlanta Falcons from 1987 through 1992. Another thing that people might not recognize because I'm an NFL player is I'm actually a college graduate. And I graduated with a computer science degree from the University of Wisconsin in database systems. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. And I've been blessed enough to be in business for 22 years. Now, here's something that I would say you probably definitely wouldn't know. Back in the day, I won't say when the day was, but back in the day, I used to make plant hangers and rugs and enjoy it. My mother will testify to that right there. So that's a little something that's off the wall. But those would be all things that I think a lot of people might not know about.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, something else the audience will want to know is what can we expect from you in the near future?
Well, my biggest focus right now is to make sure that we can provide quality martial arts training. As I've now turned the grand old age of half century, it's really important to me, being from a family of educators, that I'm able to leave something with particularly the young people that I train. So I'm working on a lot of personal development stuff with my kids. I'm trying to make sure that in our Kung Fu, our Kuntao, our Silat, our Tai Chi and internal arts training, that we're really focused on core values and functionality that's beyond just a form. So we want to do things that will enrich people's lives. So more personal development for kids. On the combative side, making sure that we actually can utilize the things that we have and we can do it at a high level. On the internal side, making sure that we are able to center ourselves, able to understand energy and build it and do more with it.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for being in the ATL.
I've actually had a great time here in the ATL. I would like to come back.
We're gonna steal it.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience or some of your students, whoever is watching? Is there anything else you'd like to say before we conclude your interview?
Well, for me, the first thing I'd like to say for all those people who have any dealings with myself, I appreciate everything that you guys have done for support of us and myself in general. For those who I've just met, I very much appreciate the opportunity to meet you. I look forward to forming a greater foundation and understanding. Like for you, Kuma Michelle, I obviously brought you to Atlanta. I'm very highly of your skill set. I'm so happy that you're here and sharing with us information. So that's my biggest thing is that, you know, as a martial arts community, let's work on sharing. Let's work on finding what's in common and not spend time bickering. That would be the biggest thing that I would say to most people.
Well, I agree completely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for joining us today here in Atlanta. And again, we're here at Reid's Shaolin Martial Arts, and this was our interview with Master Michael Reid. You can reach him at worldnews@mastershallofame.org. And I'm Michelle Manu signing off. We'll see you next time. Thank you.